Good evening and welcome to our video lesson on word problems. Today's video lesson is similar to going from phrases to expressions that we did a few weeks ago. Hopefully it'll help you connect between the two lessons. Before we start, I want to talk about how I included a learning goal down here in this video lesson. Our learning goal is to be able to solve equation word problems. You can choose whether you want to write this down right now or tomorrow. When you write it down, I need you to write it with the date of February 25th. That's tomorrow, because it's what we're going to be doing in class tomorrow. If you don't want to write it down now, that's totally fine. You can write it down tomorrow. For today's video lesson, you have a guided note that you should have gotten in class. If you didn't get it in class or you forgot it at home, you forgot it at school or don't have it for whatever reason, I posted it on Moodle, so you can print it off and still use the video note. If you don't have the guided note, you should write out everything by hand. I need to see that you have it all written down tomorrow. Alright, let's get started. For solving word problems, I gave you a video note with 5 steps, but I'm going to include a 6th step in there. The 6th step is to choose an operation, and I wrote it right here as step 2.5. You need to write this down in between 2 and 3. Your first step for word problems is to highlight keywords, just like it was for key phrases to expressions. Your second step is to write a let statement. That's the statement that tells us what our variable means. It's in the form let C represent the number of cobs you have from the last harvest. It's a statement that tells us what the variable means. Our next step, 2.5, is to choose an operation. You're going to decide whether your question is talking about multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction. Your next step is to make an equation. Next is to solve the equation. And the last one is whenever you have a word question, of course, you need to write a word answer. Alright, let's get started. Our first question. While we read it, I'm going to do the first step, which is to highlight keywords. You pay for refreshments. Refreshments would be food and drinks at a movie theater with a $10 bill. That means you gave them $10. The refreshments cost $5.73. I'm going to highlight that, $5.73. Then it tells us write an equation to find out how much change you should receive. I'm going to highlight how much change. Then solve the equation. Our next step is to write a let statement. I'm going to choose the variable C because we are talking about how much change you should receive. My let statement is going to be let C represent, you can just write REP, the amount of change. I'll say the amount of change. We've done steps 1 and 2 now. Now is the step 2.5. We need to choose what type of operation we're going to do. Is it going to be multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction? Okay, in this situation, I'm going to say it's not multiplication or division. Because we're not sharing anything, we're not dividing anything, we're not buying the same thing again and again, so it can't be multiplication or division. Now we have to choose whether it's addition or subtraction. To do that, I always read the question again. And I try to actually think about the situation, imagine myself at the movie theaters. So I've paid for refreshments at a movie theater with a $10 bill. The refreshments cost $5.73, and I'm trying to figure out how much change I should have. Well, I know that $5.73 plus whatever my change is should be equal to $10. So in this situation, I'm going to choose the operation of addition. And I'm going to write my equation as $5.73, which is the amount it cost me, plus C, the amount of change I should get, should be equal to $10. You might be thinking to yourself, okay, Miss Fortune, but I know that C is equal to 10 minus 573. Why can't I just do it that way? It's making it more complicated. The reason we're doing this, sorry, that's a subtraction sign. The reason we're doing this is to help you develop skills working with equations and the ability to interpret the words into an equation. You need to think of this as an equation, not just as the subtraction that you would have done before. This is how you can write it as an equation. Another way you could have written it, there's another way you could have written it. If the other way makes more sense to you, it's totally okay if you wrote it that way too. The other way would be 10 minus the amount of change we're going to get equals $5.73. If you wrote it that way, or if you think of it that way and understand that way better, that's totally fine, and on a quiz you would get that absolutely correct. For now, we're not going to do it this way though. We're going to go back to the first equation. Okay, let's go back to our equation. So, it costs us $5.73, and then we have however much change we should get back should be equal to $10. To solve this equation, we're going to subtract $5.73 from both sides because we need to make it get our variable c by itself. 573 minus 573 gives 0. Now we need to do the subtraction on this side. So on this side we have c equals. When we're subtracting our decimal, we need to make sure the decimals are lined up. To do that, in this case, I need to add some zeros over here. I'm going to subtract them now. If I have 10, I need to borrow from that 1 to get something I can subtract my 3 from. I'm going to borrow over borrow. I'm going to take 10 and subtract 3 from it. My answer is 7. 9 minus 7 is 2, decimal 4. So the amount of change I should get is 427. My last step is to write a word answer. I don't know what that did. Wait, I should get $4.27 change. A good idea on a quiz or a test and in your homework to make sure you got it right would be to check this problem. For time, I'm not going to check it in the video. We're going to go on to the next example. While we're reading it, I'm going to highlight our important words again. The cost of a pay-per-view concert on television is $39.95. 5 friends decide to watch the concert together and split the cost equally. What amount will each friend pay? My first step is to highlight the keywords. I've done that. Great. Second step is to write a let statement. My let statement is going to be let P. It's going to be whatever you're looking for. So in this case, we're trying to find out how much each friend will pay. So I'm going to write let P represent the amount each friend pays. Okay, step 2.5. Choose what type of operation we're going to use. So again, we have multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction. In this case, I'm going to rule out addition and subtraction right away. Can't be any of those. Because we have 5 friends who are all together, let's imagine 5 friends, 1, 2, all watching the game. They're going to split the cost equally. That word tells me we're talking about multiplication or division. Here's the next step. We need to figure out an equation for this. We need to figure out whether we're going to use multiplication or division for our equation. And you might be thinking, let's just take $39.95 and divide it by 5, Ms. Fortune. That would be great, and we'll find how much they pay. If that's what I want to do in the question, to write an equation for it, I need to write 5p is 39.95. I'm going to choose multiplication. I'm going to choose multiplication because to solve this problem, I need to divide. So if I need to divide to solve the problem, to write the equation, I need for it to have multiplication in it. If you're struggling with that, pause the video, go back and listen to it again. If you're still struggling with it, come in and see me. I'd be happy to explain it to you, and we'll go over it again many times in class tomorrow. Now let's solve this equation. I'm going to divide both sides by 5 to get rid of this 5 over here and get this p by itself. If we have 39.95 divided by 5, 5 goes into 39 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract them. Oh, get a 4. Bring down this 9. Oh, I forgot to do something. When you're dividing with decimals, be sure to always bring up your decimal to the top. 5 goes into 49 9 times. 9 times 5 is 45. I can't do it anymore on here because I've run out of space, but I'll put an arrow up here. 45. 49 minus 45 gives me 4. Then I bring down the 5 right here. 5 goes into 45 9 times. 9 times 5 is 45. Subtract the 2, we get it. Here's our last example. If you need, you try this one on your own. If you need help, if you get confused, come and see me. I'd be happy to help you. All right, I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.